It's a snow day for Vlogmas Day 4. That means the start of Christmas baking season is going to start today. It means cups of hot cocoa, and we're going to continue on with our natural theme for our Christmas tree and make some cinnamon dough ornaments. Let's get back inside where it's warm. First up, we're going to start a little Christmas baking, and we're going to use one of the vintage cookie recipes from the cookbook I picked up at the thrift store last week. This was published 40 years ago, so that is definitely vintage. And we're going to make these apple butter bars. I have lots of apple butter, so this is perfect that I can use up some of it. And then we are going to make cinnamon dough ornaments. They're similar to like salt dough ornaments. I'm sure you've all have made these and seen them. They're new to us. We've never done the cinnamon dough ones, but I just think they're gonna smell so much nicer. And the ingredients couldn't be simpler. And because it's a snow day, Aiden's home too, so hopefully we can get him in on a little bit of the Christmas cheer. We call him our Grinch in the house because he's a little bit grumpy, especially in the mornings. And he's always up in his room. My husband always says he's up there in Mount Crumpet. So we're hopefully gonna get him. And I am planning some turkey chili, I think, for supper tonight with this cold weather. And I'm gonna do it in the Instapot because I didn't think about turkey chili yesterday and didn't take the ground turkey out in time, so it's thawing out right now, and I'll just put it in the Instapot. And quite frankly, I like making my chili that way. It turns out great and it doesn't take all day to cook. Okay, we are gonna get started on the apple butter bars. So first up, we're going to cream a half a cup, I think it is. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure, yes. Half a cup of butter and 3/4 cups packed brown sugar. And I just realized I've only done half a cup, so we're gonna put 1 more 1/4 cup of brown sugar in here. Okay, and we're going to cream these two together. Okay, to this we're going to add our 2 large eggs and a half a cup of our apple butter. Now we're going to add, in this bowl, I have 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. I didn't add the cinnamon because I have a lot of cinnamon already in my apple butter, but if you don't have any in your apple butter, it would be a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon anyway, just a little. There. We're going to mix that up. So now I'm going to stir in 1½ cups of pecans. I want them a little bit bigger chunks, so I just broke them with my hands. I don't want them like chopped up fine. The recipe calls for dried fruit. We're not a fan, and I do plan on giving some of these away. And I know a lot of people aren't necessarily fans of that, so yeah, I'm substituting for pecans. And then I have my greased 13x9 pan, and yes, it is Winnie the Pooh. It was a birthday present, and I absolutely love it. And we are gonna just spread this into that, and I just greased it up with some butter. Dear Santa, tell me that you'll make it here in time. Yeah, this boy is on my mind. The number one thing on my wish list. Oh, Santa, tell me you know that I've been good. I put the lights up just for you. Okay, 350 degrees 200-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. I'm gonna check on mine after 20.
Be sure to hit that thumbs up. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you don't miss any videos.
So while those are in the oven, we're gonna make the dough for the cinnamon ornaments and just have it ready. And then I have to turn down the temperature in the oven because it's only gonna be 200 degrees. So what I like about this recipe is not only is it simple, I'm also gonna be able to use up some of my applesauce that I have a huge abundance of. So we're going to put 1 1/4 cup or 130 grams of ground cinnamon, and that's this entire bag. The cloves are optional, but I have them. That's about a tablespoon. Just adds to the nice Christmassy smell. And we need 1 cup of applesauce. So that's 1/4, half, 3/4, 1 cup. You can use a hand mixer for this if you want, but I don't see a reason for hauling that out again. And we might need to add more applesauce or cinnamon, which I hope we don't. The only cinnamon I have left is my organic cinnamon. You don't want it too sticky, it says. And it needs to be a ball. We might need to add a little more cinnamon to this, because it does seem sticky. Boy, it smells like cinnamon and clove. That's not sticky at all. That's perfect. So altogether, I added that whole bag plus maybe a tablespoon. And it did say 130 grams. And I think this is only 125. So if I'd had 130, they don't make 130 gram bags. Okay, I'm going to clean up a bit. And we're going to put a dusting. So it's telling me to put cinnamon down too for rolling it out. So I guess we're going to use more of our cinnamon. Probably like another 1/4 cup of my cinnamon because it is just way too wet. I'm hoping I can roll them out with this. All right, I'm going to call the kids in and tell them to start cutting out some shapes. Bars just came out. They smell amazing. So we've lowered the temperature, and it took 25 minutes. We've lowered the temperature to 200 to bake these very sticky and fragile cookies, ornaments. Grace and I are actually going to add a little bit of flour to the board. It's not like we're going to be eating them, and we're hoping that will stiffen it up a bit because they are very, very fragile. But Grace said they did smell really good. So, okay, we're going to finish them up. Get them in the oven. Okay, as I said, this is our first time making them. I think Grace and I have figured out the secret. The flour was not a good idea. That didn't work. Rolling them out too thin is a bad idea. They need to stay pretty thick, and then they're not so fragile. So we won't get as many, but that's okay. Grace and I are kind of over this already. So she's gonna cut out the rest. Put the little hole in. Make sure you remember to do that before you bake them because, you know, you won't be able to do it after. And yeah, I think we finally figured out the secret, Grace. I hope. Okay, that's what we got out of it. And we weren't even keeping track, and we realized we did 3 gifts, 3 snowmen, and 3 candy canes. And then we had a little bit of dough left, so we did 1 star, and we did a little round one because it wasn't big enough to really cut. And I just drew 24. Whether it works, I don't know. So these are thicker than the recipe. The recipe says about a 1/4 inch thick. These are more like a 1/2 inch thick. And the recipe says 2 hours or till they're rock hard in that 200-degree preheated oven. We're going to let these go probably a lot longer, but at least we got them done. It's been a few hours. The bars have completely cooled. I'm going to try one. I don't know if Grace wants to. You want to try one? Okay, you don't have to do it on camera, just tell me what you think. Okay, so here is what it looks like. Lovely pecans in there, and go. Mmm. They're good. Personally, I think they needed more apple butter. I think I would bump that up to 3/4 cups of apple butter, not a 1/2 cup. They remind me of apple bread. They're not bad. They're going to go good with a great cup of tea this afternoon. I am going to go work on my sweater. Yes, I'm going to get that done today. And hopefully I'll be able to show you in time today before I have to upload this video. Grace and I are going to go watch Little House on the Prairie Christmas specials. They're our favorites. We watch them every year. And every year I cry when Laura opens that saddle and they come and get the horse because she traded the horse to buy Ma the stove. I cry every year. I've seen it probably 1,000 times and I still cry. I'm going to work on my sweater during that and hopefully I can show you the finished product when we're done. Let's see what Grace thinks. Here's Gracie's thoughts. It has great texture. She's not crazy about the nuts, and I knew that. That the kids probably wouldn't like them. It's a good thing I put them in there because it's one of the few flavors. But she agreed too, it needs more punching up. I would add more cinnamon. I'm glad I did add that cinnamon. I would even add probably the things that like are in my apple butter, maybe some nutmeg and definitely more apple butter. But I like the idea of the recipe because it was simple, but it needs some punching up. And maybe 40 years ago, we didn't punch up our flavors as much. I don't know. They're not bad. They're not bad. But I'm glad I made them now and not like just a couple of days before Christmas. I don't like him taking things in that I don't think are great, but I think David's going to like them. So we'll see when he gets home. Okay, I'm going to go work on my sweater. I'm going to have a cup of tea, and we're going to enjoy Little House on the Prairie Christmas special. I have finished sewing the sleeves. The sleeves are all sewn together. They're all sewed together, both sides. I just need to sew the front and the back together and put on pockets if I want. But it is coming. Okay, now we're going to get supper ready. And those ornaments are still not done. I don't know if I'll be able to show you them actually on the tree. It might be tomorrow before I can show them to you. They're just still a tiny bit soft. And I know I made them thick. I know I did. But I turned the heat down just so they could be in there a little bit longer. And hopefully they'll turn out. Anyway, got my Instapot on. I've got it on saute. I got some sunflower oil in there. I'm really liking, that doesn't sound very, I'm enjoying using the sunflower oil for not only baking, but cooking too. It's a nice neutral oil, so if you don't want a flavor of your oil, it's perfect. It's also a lot cheaper than olive oil right now. Even organic sunflower oil is cheaper than olive oil right now. And I've been getting mine at Costco. And I like it, I really do. And it's great because I use oils in some skincare things and things too, and hopefully soap in the new year. And it has vitamin E in it, so it's got an added benefit for skincare. So I am just gonna saute this up. My chili is a very easy recipe. Chili is one of those things that everybody has what they think is a good recipe. Yes, we do like meat in our chili, and we do like the beans in our chili. I know Jennifer from A Country Life, her chili has macaroni in it. I never saw that in my life until I started watching her channel a few years ago. And I'm like, I actually messaged her and asked her, and she said it's a very Wisconsin, which is where they live. It's a very Wisconsin thing to do macaroni and chili. Never saw that in my life. So anyway, I'll link her channel actually down below. If you don't know who it is, it's A Country Life. They're cranberry farmers in Wisconsin. She puts out great content, a lot of cooking videos, and I've actually used quite a few of her recipes. Her Philly cheesesteak in the crock pot recipe is amazing. Amazing. I actually might make those later this week or next week. Okay, so this is my secret ingredient, McCormick's chili seasoning packet, and I love how they come in organic now. And my parents sent me a whole bunch. Sorry, I just had to compose myself a bit. Yeah, I can't find this here in Canada. Sorry, when I said my parents, my dad mailed a whole bunch of this to me not too long ago. And we laughed because we were not finding it funny at how much it cost him just to mail some chili packets. They mailed quite a few. Yeah, so, you know, if you're new here, my dad recently passed away very unexpectedly and very suddenly, and so that kind of hit me. Grief, man, it's weird. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to finish cooking up the ground turkey in here, and I don't worry about draining it. There's very little, you know, I had to add grease as it is, you know, oil, so it wouldn't stick, and that's almost enough to be done. It's going to be cooking in the crock pot. And then I just use dark kidney beans, and I like to add sometimes one extra can of something different, and I've been using the 6-bean medley lately. It has kidney beans in it, but it also has chickpeas. What else does it get in here? It has red kidney beans, chickpeas, black-eyed peas, white beans, Romano beans, and baby lima beans. And I enjoy it, and it's a good way to get David to eat some other beans. You know, without him knowing necessarily. Well, he'll know. You can say them, but he doesn't mind them because of the chili seasoning stuff. And then about 2 years ago, when I started realizing, why am I throwing away, ridiculous, all that tomato juice when I would drain my tomatoes, when I was cooking them down for whatever, and I would strain off all the water. I started canning it 2 years ago, and I've been adding this to my chili, and it is game-changing with my chili. It makes my chili taste amazing. It gives it so much flavor. So I'm going to add that, and I forgot, I'm also going to add a can of diced tomatoes. To show you, I fed my sourdough starter this morning, and that is where it was, and this is where it is now. She is so happy and bubbly that I am gonna have to make something with her tonight. I'll have to think on it. Maybe I'll just make some no-knead sourdough bread. I don't want it to sit too long though. I'll think on it, but she's so happy, and I'm telling you, the organic bread flour is what's working for me and feeding my sourdough. She has been so full and bubbly and full since I started giving. I'm getting easily triple the amount I was before when I was just using all-purpose. So, and the einkorn flour didn't work at all feeding her, but the bread flour that's organic is working wonders. She's doing great.
Just around the corner, coming up, just around the bend. Holiday couldn't be here soon.
Ornaments are finally out of the oven. They're cool, and they are rock hard. So we are going to get some string on them. And maybe, just maybe, because look who's awake. Hello, Aiden. Aiden. Hello.
Oh, hey.
I'll see if I can get him to help me with these.
Coming up, just around the bend. Christmas is just around the corner.
Not the prettiest ornaments, I'm going to say, that we've ever made, but they smell amazing. And the whole name of the game is rustic, right? They're definitely rustic. So we still have a few more ornaments we want to make. We're going to take a break from ornament making tomorrow, so make sure you come back here tomorrow because I have a video that's part of a collaboration that's going to go up for day 5. And Aiden has an orthodontist appointment. We're praying it is our very, very, if not last one, very close to the last one. We'll see you tomorrow here, friends, for day 5.